Yo, what's going on everyone? Hope you're all doing well. So I'm gonna make this video short and sweet and trying to keep it as simple as possible. This is gonna be my EU long trade, or two trades. So one trade and a scaling trade, um, resulting in just over 56R, which obviously is incredible trade, my best trades to date. So yeah, this is a very clean setup. So I'm going to get into it, starting on the hourly. So what we can see is we had an impulsive move up that broke structure. Okay, so we had a new high, and prior to this we had this higher low. Now you could say we had a break of structure here, which we did, but when I'm looking at breaks of structure, it's important to see how it's breaking. Is it a true break, or is it liquidity being swept? Now for me, this is just a bit of liquidity from these lows here, as it's not really a momentous break. Okay, so you can see we had an impulsive break of structure here, which gives us a order block or demand level. So we take the last down candle, which is here, as our order block. So this is a bullish order block, because the move that breaks structure, it started from this candle here, and this is the last down candle. So I'm looking to potentially get long from this area, but now that I know that I'm looking for potential longs, what I would do is drop to the 15 and see if there's any other areas where I could look to get long from. Now, just delete that off. I can clearly see that once we broke this structure here on the 15, we pulled back and we broke this high here, which also left imbalance. So again, we take the last down candle, which is this doji, and let me take that inside bar indicator off. This doji is the last down candle before the breaking structure, but we can refine it down to this next candle, because you can clearly see that this candle is still within this wick and the momentum came in on this next candle. Okay, so I have my 15-minute refined order block demand level, and just below it is the hourly higher low. Okay, now if price comes into this area here, I will look to get long from here, dependent on my lower time frame confirmations, because I know that price can come down into this area and go long from here and not tap into this area. So I don't want to miss the move if I'm waiting just for this area here. Okay, so now I've got my areas marked on. It's just about waiting for price to come in. Okay, so I've gone a bit quick there, but at this point now I'm obviously on the 1 minute time frame, and you can see coming into this area we're putting in lower lows and lower highs. So at this point in here, the lower high is clearly this move here, because we had this little bit of a range on a lower time frame, then we made the lower low, so that's the lower high. So that's the high that I want to see taken out, so I can look to get long. Now once we pushed up here, you can see we've clearly broken that structure, and the move that started the breaking structure is this last down candle here. Okay, and I did refine this down because I was looking to set an entry on the top of the order block, and I wanted to cover this wick here, but for me to do that it was a 4.2 pip stop loss, and the most I go is 4, but recently it's been max 3. So when this happens, I just drop to the lower time frame, 30-second time frame, and I can see I can refine this down. Okay, to this candle here. So I wouldn't be taking this little candle because it's just too refined, and it's unlikely for price to perfectly mitigate this candle. So I'll be taking this down move here as where I want to set my entry. Okay, so I'm going to set it over here. So I'm looking to set it on the top of the order block with my stop loss, which was 3.8, which is at the low. So 3.8 for me is fine. Okay, so now my entry is set. We can see that breaking structure. Let me just put it on BOS. Now it's about waiting to get triggered in to the trade. And I did scale into a trade, which we'll go through. Okay, so at this point here, we wicked my entry. Okay, and I was looking at that wick on a lower time frame, but once we broke structure to the upside, I was thinking, so firstly I set my trade to break even, but what does a wick show us on a lower time frame? But if I just take this wick and mark that on, you'll see that on a lower time frame this is just an order block. So it's a 15-second, zoom right in, you can see it's just an order block. Okay, it's the last down move before the move up that also broke this high here. So I was very confident that price was going to come down, or even to this order block here to mitigate. So the way I look at it is, you know, large banks or institutions, whatever, they want to get in at the best price, so a better price than, you know, anyone, before they want to push price to the upside. So they're going to push price down to mitigate, complete the transaction, and then continue it. So that's how I'm looking at it. So with that being said, I did put my stop loss to break even, but at the same time I set a second entry at this order block here. So I don't want it to get too confusing, but let's just put this order over here. Okay, so I set it at the top with a 2-pip stop loss, which is just covering the bottom of the order block. So I was thinking, if I'm going to get tagged out of this, looking back, what I could have done is left my stop loss where it was and, you know, just let the trade play out. But obviously it worked out in my favor because I had 2 trades running, and one with a 2-pip stop loss. So let's just see what happens. So I'm going to go to the 1 minute and show you that price come back down to mitigate that wick, which is a 15-minute order block, tap me into the trade, didn't take me out, and immediately you can see we tapped in, mitigate the wick, ranged, and then we see some nice momentum. So at this point here, I was very confident. I even put in the Discord before it happened. Well, I said I wanted to cover something in this video. I was very confident that this was where we was going to see huge momentum to the upside, because, you know, they have a reason to now move price to the upside because they've come back to mitigate. We're not breaking these lows. We're putting these higher lows, and I thought this is when the move was going to happen. But that being said, we broke structure, but we did come back down because we had this candle here which left imbalance. So I didn't move my stop loss. until we mitigated this wick here. Now it's risky, yeah, but we're seeing order flow to the upside. So we're breaking structure, so initiating out, mitigating that move, and then continuing, breaking structure, mitigating, and then continuing. And then you can see this is when we did actually finally move to the upside. Now I did also put in, where is it? In Discord. That was after, where is it? What I was looking for, so this is before. This is what I'm looking for, as I've just shown you. 1 minute breaker structure, refined on a 30-second time frame. Tapped into the 15-minute, also having on the hourly high or low. And then yeah, that's where we see price move from. Updates. And large momentum coming into the market. So at this point here, now I usually manage on the 15 or the hourly, but it depends on how price is moving. If price is really impulsive, then I'll be managing on the 5. If it's moving averagely, then I'm on the 15, and then the hourly. So once I see price break this high here, I've locked in at this inside bar at the low. And then spread hours are coming up, so I think it's now. So I haven't moved any of my positions. Price then pushed down, which for me is a mitigation of this move here, because it broke structure and it's the last down candle. Also grabbing liquidity from this low here. So that's why we also then see a nice impulsive move up. Now this was around 2 AM, I believe. Yeah, so we broke structure here. Now I did wait up for this, because obviously I've got 2 positions running quite heavily in profit. So I locked in, I believe it was this low here. Okay, so I've locked in at that low on both trades. Now on the hourly, the very first target at a minimum is the higher low. The higher high. So I'm looking for price to take this out. So you'll see this happened during the night. So I woke up to the close of this candle or the open. Anyway, I think it just broke this high anyway. So I managed at this low here as we impulsively moved up. So you'll see the next few candles, really heavy momentum. So at this point here, you can't even see it. So let me go to the 15. Running hugely in profit, 36R here, which can play on your mental, especially if you're managing large capital. But the more you do this, the better you'll be at it. So I've been doing it for a good few years now, so I can do it. So 19R and 36R, and I've got locked in at this low here. Now, as price has been moving really impulsively, I did actually manage on the 5 minute. So I did actually forget to mention that. So as we're breaking structure here, I am managing on these lows, okay? And also this is 7 AM, so we're coming into London session. I'm just playing the breaks to structure. So once we break structure, I'm managing at that higher low. Broke structure here, higher low. Now the way you manage trades is down to you. You can set targets, 5 to R, whatever. This works for me because I don't like trading every single day or hours every day at a screen. I'd rather manage trades and just maximize on them trades. So here we had this high, we pulled back, and then we broke this higher. So I'm at this higher low here for both my trades, and I think, yeah, again, I'm managing at this low here, and I do get tagged out here. Yeah, so I get tagged out there. Let me just drag this over. It's going to look messy, but you know, got tagged out there, 36.5, and then this one, 19.5. So that's pretty much the trade. You can see, if I just bring it back, we broke this structure. We had this as a higher low, but on the 15-minute we refined it down to a higher point of interest. We tapped in, and then it's about waiting for breaks to structure on your execution time frame. I refined it down on a 30-second, so I can get in with my stop loss protected at the low. And then depending on how price moves, so this bit of price action here is, you know, it's corrective. So I was managing on the 15-minute. I'm not really managing on the hourly. It's rare unless I'm looking at a very long term play. But you know, I'm intraday trading, sort of scalping my entries and looking to manage them as a swing trade, but not really a swing trade, because I'm looking to get in and out of trades, you know, within a day or 2 days. So sort of intraday in my opinion. But as the momentum kicked in here, this is when I'm managing on the 5-minute on breaks to structure. Okay, so how price is moving depends on how I'm managing trades. But that's the trade. As I say, around 56% gain total. What I'm going to do in the next video is, let's have a look. I'm going to run through my trade. I took some trades in here, a break even and a trade that didn't get triggered, which also then would have turned into a loss. Well, it would have been profit, but then, you know, it pushed up higher above this high here. But I'm going to go through in the next video this trade here. We broke structure, we tapped in 15-minute POI. Such a lovely trade here, which I want to dive into so you can learn from it. But that will be the next video. But yeah, let me know what you thought of this video, and yeah, I hope you all have a good Friday and a good weekend. I'll speak to you all in Discord.